Hello and welcome to Nightline. I'm Nakia Basharuddin. News making the headlines. Investigation papers on the LTTE probe submitted to the AGC. And Daesh leader killed in U.S. military operation in Syria. Welcome. More people have been evacuated to relief centers nationwide after their houses were inundated by floodwaters. According to a report issued by the National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA, as of 10 p.m. on Sunday, the number of people placed at temporary relief shelters, PPS, has increased to 1,247 in 5 states. Selangor recorded the worst flood situation of all the 5 states, with 775 flood victims being placed in temporary relief shelters. In Perak, 211 people have been placed in 2 PPS. Flood victims placed in PPS in Johor is at 105 from 21 families. And in Pulau Pinang, flood victims declined to 94 people, while there were 40 people placed in 2 PPS in Kedah. Meanwhile, PPS housing flood victims in Jelebu district have been closed as at 8:30 p.m. when flood waters started receding. Jelebu District Disaster Management Committee said the last PPS to close were in Kampung Juntai Hall and Kampung Jerang Mosque, which housed 69 people from 23 families. The investigation papers involving the 12 men detained for alleged links to the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam, LTTE, have been completed and forwarded to the Attorney General's Chambers, AGC. Bukit Aman Special Branch Counter-Terrorism Division Chief Dato' Ayub Khan Maiden Piche said that the police have wrapped up their investigations of the detainees, are unsatisfied with the probe so far.
Siasatan kita puas hatilah, sebab tu kita hantar kepada pihak AG dan bergantung kepada pihak AG lah. Bahagian ataupun part kita dah habis lah. Kita tunggulah keputusan AG ini. Dato'
Ayub Khan was speaking to the media gathered at the Kuala Lumpur Police Headquarters on Sunday. He added that his division is arranging special visits for close family members of the detainees in conjunction with the Deepavali celebration. He noted that family members are also allowed to bring food for the detainees. He added that medical services are also provided for detainees if they fall ill. The many similarities in policies and approaches that exist between Malaysia and Turkmenistan give an opportunity for both countries to work closely together in many areas. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said the cooperation could be enhanced through various ways, including holding business and products exhibitions in both countries. In a joint press statement at the end of meetings with Turkmenistan President Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov at the Presidential Palace on Sunday, Tun Dr. Mahathir pointed out that relations between Malaysia and Turkmenistan were not too strong because they knew less about each other as they belonged to different blocs in the past. However, he hopes that his visit to Turkmenistan would result in greater interaction and cooperation between Malaysia and Turkmenistan. Fresh from the 18th NAM summit in Azerbaijan, Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad arrived in Ashgabat, Turkmenistan on Sunday to begin his 2-day official visit to the country. The special aircraft carrying the premier from Heydar Aliyev International Airport in Baku touched down at the Ashgabat International Airport at 9:35 p.m. local time. His arrival was greeted by Turkmenistan Foreign Minister Rasid Meredal, Malaysian Ambassador to Turkmenistan Rosli Abdul, and senior officials from both countries. He was accorded an official welcome at the Presidential Square, where he was greeted on arrival by Berdimuhamedov. Tun Dr. Mahathir and Berdimuhamedov later held a restricted meeting, followed by a bilateral meeting and a signing ceremony. The Malaysian delegation includes Foreign Minister Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah and Economic Affairs Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Azmin Ali. Earlier, speaking to the Malaysian media on the last day of the NAM summit in Baku, Azerbaijan on Saturday, Tun Dr. Mahathir said the Foreign Ministry is sourcing an office space to set up the Malaysian embassy accredited to Palestine in Jordan, which the government hopes to open as soon as possible. He said the move to set up the embassy and Malaysia's support for Palestine were due to the decades-long of injustice faced by the Palestinians.
Ya, kita selalunya menyokong perjuangan Palestin kerana ini bukan semata-mata kerana mereka terdiri daripada orang Islam, tetapi the injustice, ketidakadilan yang dilakukan terhadap orang Palestin, merampas tanah mereka, memberi kepada Israel bantuan supaya dapat pertahankan Israel daripada usaha untuk mendapat balik oleh Palestin. Dan semua itu menjadi ketidakadilan yang perlu kita sebut kepada supaya seluruh dunia sedar bahawa ini masalah ketidakadilan.
Tun Dr. Mahathir announced the proposed move during his address to leaders and representatives from 120 member countries of the NAM summit on Friday. He said the opening of the accredited embassy would allow Malaysia to extend aid to the Palestinians more easily. He added Jordan was chosen to house the embassy because Israel would not allow Malaysia to open it in the occupied territory.
Palestin ini diinaya. Jadi kita dapati bahawa kuasa-kuasa besar menyokong perbuatan yang melanggar undang-undang antarabangsa oleh Israel. Ini menyedihkan kerana mereka bercakap berkenaan dengan justice, the rule of law, tetapi apabila Israel buat salah, mereka masih terus sokong Israel. Jadi kita tak ramai orang yang menyuarakan perkara ini, dan kita sebagai negara berkecuali, kita perlu menyuarakan supaya dunia akan sedar akan ketidakadilan yang telah dilakukan ke atas rakyat Palestin.
There are currently more than 30 diplomatic offices and international organizations in Palestine's Ramallah and Gaza. Palestine currently has an office in Kuala Lumpur, while the Malaysian ambassador to Egypt is accredited to Palestine. Meanwhile, asked about his disappointment with NAM, which the Prime Minister expressed while addressing the summit on Friday, Tun Dr. Mahathir said the movement no longer reflects the objectives of its establishment as member states struggle to reach a consensus over international issues.
It is important that NAM should be made relevant to present-day politics. And that is, I suppose, the task of the new leadership of NAM. Yeah, but still, there could be close relation within certain like-minded countries, which can carry the objective of NAM effectively in certain cases.
Sarawak is among the states receiving the highest allocation under 2020 budget. As such, Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng denied claims by certain quarters that the federal government was not fair in providing the allocation, with the state getting only 4.4 billion ringgit for development expenditure. The amount of 4.4 billion ringgit is for 621 projects in Sarawak in 2020, compared with 4.3 billion ringgit for 569 projects in the state in 2019. Lim said the federal government is concerned with Sarawak's development and proposed to increase the special grants under the federal constitution to the state to 32 million ringgit effective next year, from 16 million ringgit a year since 1969. He said it is the federal government's hope to increase the amount amount up to 64 million ringgit in 5 years. He said the allocation under the 2020 budget for Sarawak included 400 million ringgit for repair of dilapidated schools in the state. The finance minister also noted that the federal government has taken steps to share 50% of the tourism revenue collected from the respective states, with 2.6 million ringgit given to Sarawak in March from tourism revenue collected in the state in 2018. Despite the wet weather, Hindus gathered at homes and temples on Sunday to celebrate the Festival of Lights on a moderate scale across the country, but it was no less joyous than in previous years. The Festival of Deepavali represents triumph of good over evil, among others, and in Malaysia's context, goodwill and harmony among the various races through the open house tradition. The religious rituals and traditions began with devotees going to the temple early morning before visiting their relatives and friends. They began arriving at temples as early as 7 a.m. for prayers and paying respect to members of their family who have passed away. After performing the rituals, they visited the houses of families and friends to fet the Festival of Lights, which was also participated by those from other communities to enjoy special treats for the festival. Hindus also took the opportunity to have open houses, welcoming visits from relatives and friends. Other than attending Deepavali open houses, the public also took advantage of the public holiday to spend time with their families and perform other leisurely pursuits. In Kuala Lumpur, a group of volunteers brought the festive lights to the city's homeless transit centre on Jalan Pahang. Organised by the Un Jaafar Institute, the event was aimed at celebrating Deepavali with the homeless community of all skin colours. Scores of volunteers, including from KDU University College, joined hands in the program, bringing much joy to the 200 shelter occupants. Apart from scrumptious Indian dishes and desserts such as chicken curry, fish curry and ladu, the community was also served with exciting performances as entertainment.
I think this is very good event because we're helping with the homeless, and then we are giving entertainment to them.
So today we have a new recipe for the chicken curry and the fish curry. I hope everybody liked it.
Meanwhile, occupants of the centre expressed their gratitude for the event, which they described as both colourful and thoughtful.
Dekat sini menyambung bersama kawan baru. Compare kalau dibandingkan dengan family, memang family lagi bagus. Tapi bagus juga, saya puas hati dengan.
Saya rasa meriah lah. Ramai orang datang sini menyambut hari Deepavali, berbilang bangsa, rasa gembira, makanan pun sedap.
The Malaysian Indian music scene is an emerging industry with a lot of potential to go big globally. But to be able to achieve that, the industry needs scene setters or pioneers that are willing to nurture young talents and show the world what Malaysia has to offer. Well known as Rabbit Mac, Charles McCallum John Arrell aims to build a future for young talents that are musically inclined. Not all heroes wear capes. Our trainee reporter Alia Hamidi meets Rabbit Mac.
Today I'm here to meet a highly talented man who has been in this scene for over a decade. He is renowned for his discipline and passion in his craft. He is building an empire for the young talents to grow their career and set their names to be globally recognized.
What inspired me was my failure. My biggest failure was my first attempt in the music scene. That was like 15 years back, and then when I see a lot of struggles and pain during that first process, I really think it helped me to concrete my ability to become like a musician, So I would say that would be the first thing which inspired for who I am right now. My biggest personal achievement would be the ability to achieve things back to back, because I think that has a lot of hard work and efforts behind it. So I think that is my biggest achievement, like, you know, being able to achieve all the time. What am I doing right now is, rather than investing time on myself, I'm building a platform for the younger generation, for the younger musicians to, I'm training them to be famous and, you know, become really talented and, you know, musically inclined. And of course, I want any of these guys to just blow globally and put Malaysia on the map. My future goals would be a PU for Life music school. So it was like, you know, one of my first dreams even before I started recording, because I really want to educate a lot of people with what I know and with the knowledge of my people here. Wishing everyone a prosperous, happy Deepavali.
After this breather, film director's body found a day after boat capsize. Do stay with us. Welcome back. The body of film director, 43-year-old Muhammad Firdaus Muhammad Hanif, or more known as Pit Hanif, was found floating in Sungai Jelai, Pahang, about 27 hours after he was reported missing. His body was found about 500 meters from the location where he went missing, near the Gemunchur Bridge in Kampung Mela, Lipis, at 4:25 p.m. The search and rescue operation, which was suspended on Saturday due to unfavorable weather conditions, was resumed at 8 a.m. on Sunday. Pitt and his friend Sham Mokhtar were riding a fiber boat on Sungai Jelai when it hit a bridge pole near the Gemunchur Bridge in Mela and capsized at about 1 p.m. The boat broke in two and Pitt was carried away by strong currents while Sham managed to save himself. His wife Farah Ahmad and her 3 children said that her husband had announced of a holiday upon completing the film of Coast Guard in Lipis.
Dia memang selalu mancing, apa orang kata, memang bukan kolam lah, outdoor lah, sungai, laut. Juga memang biasa. Bila last berjumpa dengan dia? Last kami anak beranak jumpa masa Raya Haji, iaitu break masa location shooting Coast Guard dah habis di Langkawi. Dia balik ke KL sebelum pindah ke Pahang.
The operation involved 15 boats and 74 personnel from the Fire and Rescue Department, the Civil Defence Force, the police and even local residents.
Sungai ni airnya deras. Di lokasi pencarian terdapatnya sampah sarap dan menyukarkan pihak pasukan menyelamat di air kerana terdapatnya sampah sarap di dasar sungai tersebut. Dan kata kelajuan air pun laju juga untuk menyukarkan bagi pasukan menyelamat untuk mencari mangsa. Dalamnya sedalam lebih kurang 8 meter lah.
His body was sent to the Kuala Lipis Hospital for post-mortem. Meanwhile, theatre activist and actor Fauzia Nawi also confirmed the discovery of her son's body through a post on his social media site this afternoon, after she was notified by her brother Fauzi, who was at the scene.
Saya ingin mengucapkan terima kasih kepada semua yang mendoakan, yang berusaha mencari jenazah anak saya. Saya sangat berterima kasih. Saya minta maaf, saya tak dapat nak menjawab telefon. Minta maaf sangat-sangat. Saya berada di rumah sekarang. Tapi Alhamdulillah, menurut kata adik saya, Fauzi Haji Nawi, pihak bomba yang menjumpai jenazah anak saya, Muhammad Firdaus, dia mengatakan dia tak pernah jumpa jenazah orang cantik itu walaupun di dalam air dah 2 hari.
A Malaysian was found dead with multiple gunshot wounds in front of a cemetery in Sungai Golok, Narathiwat, southern Thailand early on Sunday. The victim, identified as 28-year-old Muhammad Faisal from Rantau Panjang, Kelantan, was believed to have been shot dead after a fight with a group of men. Police said shots were fired at the victim's head, face, chest and legs. The victim's body was taken to Sungai Golok Hospital for post-mortem. Preliminary police investigations found that the victim had earlier quarreled with 5 men near the scene. Witnesses said the victim was trying to escape from the 5 men, 2 of whom then fired shots at the victim. Kelantan's Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency detained a boat and 11 Vietnamese fishermen for illegally fishing in the country's waters on Saturday. The foreign fishing boat was detected just a little past 8 a.m. but fled to the Malaysian-Vietnamese border. The foreign fishing boat was detained after being chased for an hour and a half despite huge waves, strong winds and heavy rains. Besides the boat, the MMEA seized 300 kilograms of fish and fishing gear worth 600,000 ringgit. Papua police probe killing of 3 ojek drivers. Stay tuned. Now on to the foreign front. The fugitive leader of the Daesh group has been killed in a U.S. military operation in northwest Syria. U.S. President Donald Trump on Sunday said Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi detonated his suicide vest after fleeing into a tunnel while being pursued by U.S. troops. Footage aired by Iraqi state television shows where Daesh leader al-Baghdadi was reportedly killed. Citing a terrorism expert, it said that Iraqi intelligence agencies had helped pinpoint Baghdadi's location. A commander of one of the militant factions in the northwestern Syrian province of Idlib said Baghdadi was believed to have been killed in a raid in the village of Brisha near the Turkish border. Baghdadi, a native of Iraq, around 48 years old, built the extremist movement into a potent force in 2014. His exhortations were instrumental in inspiring terrorist attacks in the heart of Europe and in the U.S. Long pursued by the U.S.-led coalition, Baghdadi has been erroneously reported dead several times in recent years. 3 people have been killed in Indonesia's restive Papua region, with police saying the victims were civilians, while a rebel group that took responsibility said that they were undercover intelligence officers. The clash comes as Indonesian President Joko Widodo on Sunday was to visit the restive region, racked by a decades-old independence insurgency after months of mass demonstrations and deadly unrest. Police said rebels killed 3 motorbike taxi drivers in Intan Jaya, a central region in Indonesia's easternmost territory. The West Papua National Liberation Army claimed responsibility, but said they shot and killed 3 undercover agents in an exchange of gunfire with Indonesian troops. Neither the military nor the separatist movement claims could be independently verified. Region of India marked the eve of Diwali by lighting candles and watching fireworks on the banks of the Sarayu River in Ayodhya. Visuals of the celebration draws Nightline to a close this morning. With that, I'm Nakia Bashiruddin. Thanks for watching and have a productive week ahead.